Because sometimes my head be so low at the brim that you can't see my face.
That's why you got that light.
So I'm good. Okay.
You don't have a shadow. She's like you're glowing. Trust me. I got your light.
Yes, we see you.
I see you in your greatness.
So I've been recording, so that was all on.
Well, you need some good outtakes.
Beautiful.
All you, Roy.
Welcome to Radio Row from New Orleans, live for Super Bowl 59. I'm Roy Kessel with Sports Philanthropy Network, and we're very excited to have with us today a special group. So I'm going to let Alicia Marinelli from Living Sport tell us a little bit about our great guest, and we're going to get to see some fun hardware and you hear some amazing stories about the work that you're all doing.
Thank you so much, Roy. I am honored and a pleasure really to introduce these two next to me. I am in the middle of greatness right now. Right here, we have Olympic gold medalist Moushaumi Robinson, who is a phenomenal Living Sport ambassador and comes into the program and really pours herself into the program participants that go through our 11-day International Sport Business Program. And then three-time Olympic gold medalist LaShawn Merritt over here. Same thing. He comes on Living Sport ambassador. These two really take their greatness. These are two people who dedicated their lives to what they sought after, their goals, their dreams. They put everything into achieving these medals right here. And they are so fortunate to bring that mindset, the Merritt mindset, and everything Moushaumi has to offer to young professionals who want to work in sport. So that is what Living Sport is all about. It's really about living your dreams. We have this passion for sport, but let's put that towards working in sport and serving in the way that we could serve by becoming better people, better professionals, and better communities.
And I love that when you talk about better people, because obviously for Sports Philanthropy Network, that's what we talk about, right? How do we develop better people? How do we transform lives and communities and build stronger, healthier, more inclusive communities? So I'd like to take each of you and have us tell us a little bit about the type of work that you want to be involved with and what your passion is.
Yeah, absolutely. I came on board with Alicia with Living Sport because everything that she's building in these young collegians is to create an atmosphere for what it looks like at every level of sport to build champions behind the scenes and in front of the camera. What that looks like in servant leadership, and everything that allowed me to be great is what I try to tell each of these young people. It's been about giving back for me. One of the things about philanthropy and being an athlete in sport is that we have to think about what are the things that led us to our greatest places and what kind of support did we have. And the thing about philanthropy is giving back and doing service. So what I try to truly pour into the young collegians that are part of Living Sport is that servant leadership mindset and that servant leadership heart. That the only way we can actualize our greatest selves is to be able to serve in a selfless way, serve others that can't do anything for us, because that's when we learn our true character. And I was able to do that in the things that I'm doing in sports. So I now try to promote that with our young people. And when I found Living Sport and she's working with collegiates, young adults who are getting ready to embark upon the world, I thought there was no better place for me to be with the things that I believe in than to be a part of her platform and what she's trying to do with my Olympic gold medal.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What was the question?
Thank you, man.
Well, you could get to make up your own question, but what we're trying to ask about is you got involved with this program for a reason. You became an ambassador for Living Sport.
Yes.
So how do you see that tie into your vision for giving back to the world and helping these young lives?
These young collegiate professionals are about to enter the world, and Living Sports give them Living Sport, no S, gives them the opportunity to be in rooms with like-minded individuals, get experiences. I come in, myself and Moushaumi come in as ambassadors of people who have been champions, and we know what it takes from the accountability, the discipline, but also aligning yourself and having purpose. So over these 11 days, I'll be doing keynotes on the Merritt mindset. It's a formula that led me to greatness. And I attribute a lot of my success to great character. So I push to them great character, servant leaders, and I'm just here to support their next chapter in life.
So when you look back, right, you went through, both of you, obviously highly decorated careers, there's a great amount of success. One of the things that seems to be a struggle in today's world for many young individuals, not only athletes, but is developing that mindset, right? How do you develop that mindset of focus, the mindset of dedication? Talk a little bit about how you did that through your career.
For me, it started very early. I had a mom who was an educator, and I had a dad who was more of a high performer. And I always knew I had to do what I had to do in order to do what I wanted to do. It started very early. And the discipline, the accountability, everything that I had to bring into my preparation to be a champion are the same things that you can apply to any lane. It's through that preparation and being intentional that I really try to push. I spent 17 years in the sport, and the rest and recovery phase, the holistic approach of what I'm doing outside of when I'm performing mattered the most. And in life, I feel like with the young people, it's who are you going to align yourself with? What's your mind going to be outside of where you grew up, and you can create your environment? And how are you going to self-talk to yourself? I feel like that's very important. And all of those things will make the mind get into a space of wherever you want it to be.
So Moushaumi, as well, from your end, right, when you look at life, we all start at different places, and then getting to that peak echelon of your sport. Talk about what drove you to do that.
I think that it's important that when we set goals, we kind of know those whys. And I try to tell people to ask themselves 5 whys. You know, why did you want to do that? And then why again, and why again. It's the 5th why. That's the real reason. And when you get down to that 5th why, you can hold on to that. That's what'll keep you getting up. That's what'll keep you getting after it. And I like to tell people, if you can't get to 5 whys, it may not be something that's soul touching and soul reaching. And so when you can ask yourself what it is, why you're doing something, and hold on to that, what I find is when people have something very deep inside their soul that they want to do, it's hard to keep them distracted or have them distracted when it's deep down inside. They may not talk a lot about it. They may not even share the woes of what's going on, but they continue to push through. So I like to encourage people to find their why. And a lot of that comes from being of service, because when we're of service, we learn our character. So for me, holding on to my why, and it was just because I saw representation in 1988. I saw FloJo run track. I wanted to do something so great, and I didn't have any naysayers per se. So I understand that a lot of things in life can set us back. A lot of times people aren't always encouraging us. That's why I tell people, hold on to your why. Hold on to your why, because most people don't even know their own. So if you can hold on to it yourself and you ignite that and live that out, other people will find theirs. And rather than be a naysayer for you, they become their own personal cheerleader.
Well, I love that personal cheerleading, and I love that 5 why concept, right? That'd be a great name for a book or a consulting company, right? You talk about to doing things, but I think so often people look for easy answers, right? In today's world, right, we all have these little phones, and it's got answers to everything we need, right? Anytime you want. And so it's very simple. People don't need to drill down and figure that out. So, Alicia, I want to jump it back to you for a minute, because you put this whole program together, right? Talk a little bit about where that idea came from and why you became so passionate about this.
Sure, it's easy. It's the exact program that I wish I had when I was a young professional, a student in college. So I knew I wanted to work in sport. I wanted to go after my passion. I knew I wasn't going to be a professional athlete, but I could affect the positivity and change behind it working in sports. So that was my path. Sport management is a major in 400 plus colleges and universities here in the States, and then beyond internationally. So I was fortunate enough to get a job in sports. It took some time, right? There's a lot of competition. So I was a professional intern over my time, but I found myself working for the New York Knicks, the New York Rangers, got myself into minor league baseball, where I really found myself small office staff, doing a lot, wearing a lot of hats. Got into the sport of cycling, and it totally changed my life. Started traveling internationally, seeing sport from a different lens, and really I had a thought. I was working a cycling event in Milan, Italy, and I had to hold up a second, and I just thought to myself, how did a girl from small town PA make it to Milan, Italy, working in sports, the thing that she loves? And at that instance, I didn't even have to think that I had to give that to other people as well. So that is where the concept of Living Sport really came, and then I had to make it happen. So it started as a passion project, 2 years of full-time work plus Living Sport, building Living Sport on the side, and now 8 years later, 10 countries. This is our 5th Super Bowl. We were at the Paris Olympic Games with 2 Olympic champions, and over thousands of students have gone through this 11-day program that really, it teaches a lot of life lessons about the real world, but at the end of the day, it teaches confidence. And I think that's the biggest part we could take out of the program.
Well, you hit on some key points, right? Which is you talked about how long you worked on this, right? People see things as an overnight success, right? There's no such thing, because that overnight success took 8 or 10 years of work behind the scenes, and the number of hours that people see, right? It's like that tip of the iceberg, right? People see a couple of things, but they don't see how many nights Alicia lay awake putting together the plans, and how many times you create what you think is the perfect formula, and then you realize, that's not exactly perfect. I need to spin it and change it a little bit, right? So, what I'd love to understand, right? You as Olympians have an enormous opportunity to make a difference in many ways, right? So, Moushaumi, why did you pick Living Sport? There's so many organizations out there that are doing incredible work. There's so many nonprofits, there's so many great causes. You obviously connected with Alicia. What made this the lifeblood for you?
I'm so glad you asked that question. During my career, as I was preparing to retire, I got into education, became an educator. So I've been in education for 15 years, just recently retired, to be able to be more accessible, to expand what I learned in education and kind of see where there are voids. So when I saw and realized what Alicia was doing, which was building confidence, self-efficacy, providing access, traveling young people, exposing them, I'm like, this is everything I would have thought of. She'd start of it first. So rather than reinvent it, just join her. I've been a strong proponent of that socio-emotional care for young people in education. That self-awareness and how they show up to the world. And so what I realized with Living Sport is that, one, the name itself has been my lifestyle. Sport unites, sport grows, sport edifies, sport refines through those losses and lessons. And the fact that Alicia brought all of that together, and then she found space to bring in champions to be able to share organic stories with young people, to tell not just about the diamonds, about the dirt and the coal that was there first too. I think there was no other place that God could lead my heart than to align with Alicia, because like I said, God gave her the vision of what was in my soul, so there was nothing for me to do but join it. He said, he built it, now you come.
Well, and I give you credit for doing that, and then we'll have LaShawn share his perspective as well. But, one of the things that becomes a pet peeve of the work we do at Sports Philanthropy Network is how many people don't take your approach, right, to see something that's working and say, I'm going to be part of that, but instead take what I call the ego-driven approach, which is, I want my own thing. This needs to be about me. Yeah. And it's like, it's not about any of us. It's about the impact that we're creating. It's about the collaborations and the power to transform, right, to change lives, to transform communities. So what did you see in Alicia's work that made you identify that as a great opportunity?
I was networking after I retired, and Alicia and I bumped into each other, and she told me all about what she was doing, and I never thought I would travel when I was younger, and I ended up filling up almost 3 passports. And I understand how important it is for experiences and to be aligned with people that resonate and vibrate on the same frequency as you. And that's what she do, and she gives these young people opportunities. And for me to come in, and like Moushaumi said, living sport, I've been living sport my whole life. So I have stories, I have experience from being on the main stage, but a lot of these participants are volunteering at a lot of different competitions. So I let them know the volunteers and the behind the scenes is what really makes these competitions. So we appreciate them as champions of them being behind the scenes, and let them know that with transitioning out of college into life, and us being adults and being ambassadors, we have stories and experiences in the areas that they're going into, and just shining light, and like Alicia and Moushaumi said, being able to make an impact. The fact that I'm able to impact young people's lives based on the things I've did in my life, I love it, and I'll continue to do it. And Alicia is a great individual. Like, I mean, you're connecting great people with great people, so it's
obviously
working.
on the payroll. Obviously on the payroll there.
Well, that's the cool thing about friends, right? You don't necessarily have to go there. We're all in this together. But, I mean, look at me. I'm in between champions right now. Right? To sit here, it is a sincere honor and pleasure. And I look at these things and, you know, beyond the gold medal, it's the heart that they both have inside of them. And when you work with good people, it just makes all the difference. And all the students that go through our program feel it, and they become, because they now see it. Right? And I think that's the most important part of the Living Sport program, is we really believe in people and that they can accomplish their dreams. But it's going to take some hard work.
Well, and nothing worth achieving comes easily, right? We know that you've got to put in a lot of hard work. You each have identified a passion. We're going to pass along your cards here, right? That's yours, Moushaumi.
Oh, I didn't write it down.
That's LaShawn's. Okay, and then we're going to ask each of you to come here and put up another one of these.
Amazing.
We're
So
gonna
yeah,
clear
let's
the
do
space
it.
here and put up the.
Oh yeah.
You know, there's a lot of great causes, right? I did put up Living Sport because I am here with 17 students from around the world, and they're just in my heart right now. We're spending 24/7 with them, and Moushaumi too. But Moushaumi, I would like to hear, like, what did you write there?
I also, as I love the mic, I also wrote Living Sport because, as I mentioned, and I was glad to be asked the question, what Living Sport brings in terms of ambassadorship, in terms of representation, in terms of being a champion in sport. You know, being here, I never know that there was an opportunity for young people to be able to experience things at a level that built champions like myself. And the give back is what my entire life is about, service and giving back, and that's what Living Sport is. And there is no other way for me to get involved now, so this is a great time in my life, and that's why I chose that. I chose what it's
Beautiful.
service.
So I chose my foundation, which is the LaShawn L. Merritt Foundation and Living Sport. And I want to change and impact lives. You know, my thing is changing and impacting lives. I was always told all my life to have fun with whatever I did, and I was told that I was meant for something special. So if I can continue to push that, then I feel like I've did my job.
Well, I want to thank all of you, Moushaumi, LaShawn, Alicia. Thank you so much for joining us here today on Radio Row at Super Bowl 59. We appreciate your time. Love the work that you're doing. Would love to see how we can help support and collaborate with everything that you're doing. So thank you for taking time out of your schedules to be here today.
Thank you, Roy. Thank you so much.
Roy.
And for all of our viewers and listeners, thank you for joining Sports Philanthropy Network live from Radio Row at Super Bowl 59 in New Orleans. I'm Roy Kessel signing off for Sports Philanthropy Network. Please remember to live generously.